to everyone. Welcome to Buddhist a series of Dhamma Talks organized by Buddhist Sangha Youth of Thailand on WBTV, the Buddhist TV, World TV of Wat Yanavas. So today again, we are very happy, to have the novice Jim with us about the spiritual matters, spiritual talk, which are important in our lives. Most people in, modern time, they are concerned themselves only with the material, matters, whether it be the economic, social, or even political. But some of them ignore the spiritual matters. That's why in our show, a series of Dhamma Talk, we would like to provide you with the spirituality, how we can access to Buddha Dhamma through the Dhamma Talk, which the Buddha, in his highest blessing, he praised so much about the Dhamma discussion twice a month, which we believe the Dhamma Talk, which help you as the tool, to cross like a bridge, to cross from the other side to the other side, maybe from the mundane or worldly matter to the spiritual or supramundane matters. That's why today I'm very glad to see you again and welcome to our show. Jim.
Oh, I'm again very happy to see you and sawadika.
So today, Jim, we would like to share and talk about your experience or even your monastic life or whatever about your daily life, what you have done and what you have experienced during the 1 month, last 1 month, and then so that's why I have heard that you have met some precious person. You never seen him before, maybe for about 30 years.
That's correct. And oddly enough, the last month or 3 months, basically, in the monastery, is actually not completely unlike the first few months of my doing meditational practices 40 years ago.
Oh.
The similarities are, let us say, interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Coincidences, maybe, hard to say, but certainly there are some similarities. When I first began doing formal practices, which were prostrations and mantra that I learned from Tibetan lamas, I basically organized my basement into a small part of the basement into a meditational place. As it turned out, my wife, and the only wife I've had,
only wife.
really didn't like it very much. And she ultimately asked me to go. My feelings towards her, certainly at the time and has been, is that I love this woman very much. I love the family, I loved having children, I loved being a father. I never imagined actually anything other than that.
Right.
My commitment was 100% and I was very comfortable within that commitment. When she asked me to leave, oddly enough, my feeling is that I didn't own this woman. I was in love with the woman, but you can't make someone love you. You can't make someone be with you if that's not what they want.
Right.
And so actually I honored her request that to go ahead and leave the family. It turned out that she had made different arrangements already that I was unaware of, which was fine with me. It's certainly not impolite to do that. But I went into the monastery, and her request that I would not actually bother the new family relationship that she was having, and I honored that also. I said that it was a bad idea, but nevertheless I honored her request because that's what she wanted. That was 40 years ago.
Oh, 40 years.
I did see the family once again at my one of my children's graduation from high school.
From high
And that was the last time I saw any of them, which was 30 years ago.
Ah.
And oddly enough, during this blog and internet time, an old friend of mine, Brian Vergato in Seattle, put a message on the internet that I happened to come across about maybe 10 days ago. No, probably a week ago.
A week ago.
And I was surprised that someone was looking for me.
About your message or what?
Well, he basically was saying, I'm looking for James Yasha Marshall. Are you there? And he said it was Brian, and he wanted to talk. It was a simple message. How I managed to stumble across it in all of the possible internet places, who knows? Well, I contacted him, and it was Brian, and we started talking again and started sharing, what we're currently interested in doing. Oddly enough, probably within 3 days of the time that I discovered that web message, my son, Sean, who is now 40 years old,
all right, now 40 years old,
seems to have come across exactly the same web message.
Yep.
And how he happened to do that, who knows? And he contacted me. So the whole process from coming across this message to sending an email to my son, whom I haven't seen for 30 years, was 7 days.
Right.
That is an astounding, in fact, impossible connection, and certainly not something that one could imagine or expect.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had always wondered what I might say or do if I was able to find out where my family had gone or we had contact. And I've discovered I'm really thrilled by the idea.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable about talking with them and sharing my experiences. And we'll have to see what happens, ultimately, of course. And I haven't really found out what they have done the last 30 years, which is a lot of a person's life. And we'll have to go from there. But nevertheless, the connections have been made. And I don't think it's unconnected to the meditational practices I've been doing the last 3 months in the monastery. Those practices have been all done at nighttime. The reason it's done at nighttime is, or even very early in the morning, as most monks get up at 3 or 4 in the morning. And they do that because it's quiet.
Quiet. Yeah.
Not just quiet in a mechanical way, but people are asleep. And this actually is very helpful because mostly people's minds are very noisy and busy. And you actually have to spend at least some energy keeping that noise away from you. At 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, it's very quiet. Almost everybody is asleep. And that is an excellent time to do the kinds of meditations that I do, which is associated with basically waking up in your sleep, understanding your dreaming, which is called lucid dreaming, understand that you can actually meditate in your dream, and then do your meditations in a dream state.
Right.
And what it means is your body is not an interference with your meditation. Your body is asleep.
Right.
But your meditation is indistinguishable from being conscious and awake because you actually have a choice to do what you want to do. And you are, let us say, self-conscious within a sleeping environment.
Right.
It causes different kinds of problems in your life. It makes you fairly sensitive to your environment, such that being in a monastery is usually where you should be, or out in a cave in the middle of no place, because you have a tendency to be, let's say, critical of people's choices. And being political and polite sometimes doesn't work. very well. So there's reasons why they have monasteries away from places and for
Right.
people like me to go, so that I don't cause very much trouble or too much trouble. But it doesn't mean that you don't influence conditions at a distance.
Yeah.
And that influence is something you have to be very polite about. That's part of meditational etiquette, is learning, how to be polite or not noisy or not interfere in inappropriate ways. And that actually takes a bit of time to, let us say, learn. When I first started meditational practices, I'm quite sure I wasn't polite because it was unclear of how much influence I did have.
Right.
And I think that's what bothered my wife at that time, is that my clumsiness within that meditational environment was frightening for her. And I think it's something that meditational people or spiritual people or people who are thinking about going on spiritual pilgrimages need to, let's say, understand about people who aren't interested in doing that.
Yeah,
That
I think so.
it can cause some concern that they actually don't know how to deal with either.
Right.
But getting rid of you is usually their first choice.
Because the Buddha, even some people maybe they understand the spirituality. In our tradition, they have like the two world, right? One is the worldly, and another one is a spiritual or the Dhamma. But it's the world and the Dhamma should go together. But some of them they don't know the world, and then they try to ignore the world and then live for the Dhamma. Exactly, they forsake something behind, and then they never understand much about the world. And when they practice Dhamma, they think, oh, I'm make progress in Dhamma or in spiritual journey, whatever. But that is not truly, perfect. Just only the one perfect. That's why the Buddha talk about the three person in Tipitaka. In Pali Canon, one person with one blind eye, another person with two blind eyes, and the third person with the normal eyes, 2 eyes. So that's why the 2 eyes comparable to the two world, like the world and the Dhamma, the spirituality and secularity. So that's why should go together. So most of people experience like this, Jim. Most of them they try to forsake both. Even right now in many fields of the subject of the knowledge, whatever economic politics, or even the side, cognitive side, or even some the pure side, or even the applied side, as we know. But most of them try to focus on their spiritual specification, right? Yeah. So that's why they ignore the spiritual domain or the Dhamma domain. The Buddha blame this as well, to go together, not just only spiritual or extreme spirituality. That's
Well, I certainly agree. And what Buddha did was return to his family later.
Right.
And my feeling, of course I don't know this true or not, I suspected his wife was Oshodadana.
Oh, okay.
His wife knew that he was having troubles and understood his leaving. And actually, my feeling is that their love for one another was genuine, and that she probably didn't discourage him from making this choice. Now, certainly it's easy for Western people to say, well, he left his family. But certainly the Indian families and certainly the Asian families are extended families, all of them.
Right.
She wasn't abandoned in the streets, or she wasn't neglected in any way. But I think that there was probably a very important agreement and connection between Buddha and his wife and his child that wasn't neglected. It just was time for him to go solve the particular problems that he needed to solve in order for him to be a better person.
Yeah.
Once he figured that out, he did return to his family,
Right, exactly.
and his son did become
He
a
did.
student and a follower.
And even his partner.
Yeah, his wife and
as
his sister, aunt.
Yep, and
But
families.
it wasn't that he didn't understand this. It was time to do something different, and
Right.
that was the meditation
Yeah,
and solving
exactly.
that problem. Once he solved it,
Right.
then I think there was a comparable value in choices that other people have to make in their lives, and appreciation for those choices. And that from time to time you can change your mind and go do something else. But I think it's important to understand and appreciate that the Buddha didn't negate any of these things. He merely put them into perspective
Right.
in such a way that they were more comprehensible, understandable, and more vitalizing and valuable, as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, in a person's life. He didn't neglect these things, but he also didn't, as you say, fixate on it and become obsessive with any of it. He said all of these experiences in his life have virtue and value. And your children, contacting your children again after a number of years,
How about
which
you?
is a big surprise.
A big surprise.
But nevertheless, he seemed to be very interested in what I had been doing. And we'll go from there. I'm not sure he'd be interested in being a
I
student.
believe maybe he'll grow mature, mature.
He
Maybe
was a wonderful
spiritual.
little boy. He
Maybe
was,
spiritually mature, and then time for you to help him with the spirituality.
we'll see if that's up to him, of course.
Yeah, up to him. But father is a good friend. That's we have we call the sound from others, from external. The external things, for whatever it be, like media or people or whoever. That's what we call external factors. I think you will be the good example, inspiring example for him.
Well, we'll see. It has actually been a concern for me what my children might think of my lifestyle choices and what I have done in my life. I wouldn't have changed my mind if they were critical of that. But to some extent, part of my mind would naturally hope that they would find it, if not something they would do themselves, something at least interesting.
Right.
And that they might have some reason to appreciate their father in some way. I'm not sure whether that's true or not, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Interesting, Jim, for
Very.
you to talk about your own experience, especially to come across your son. I think it's like you want to help him, or maybe it's like a coincide, right? Or even I don't know. Maybe it's where we call it karma. Karma is a kind of the proper karma, proper time. For you to.
It was a big surprise.
A big surprise.
Whether it was karma or whatever, or whose karma it may
Yeah.
have been,
Yeah.
For me, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yep. So in the end of the program, I would like you to conclude for 1 minute with this. What do you think of this?
I think the life of the Buddha, not just as an enlightened person, but as a person,
Exactly.
is very important for people to appreciate. and that I realized that traditions have established enlightenment as mostly inaccessible and unobtainable. I think that is not what the Buddha said. That's not what the Buddha did.
Right.
He was an example of how you just go ahead and do it and stop complaining and stop fussing at yourself for not doing that and stop listening to people who say you can't do it. You do it, you just get up and do it. Don't think of reasons not to do it. In fact, mostly what people do is create their own disqualifications for reasonable spiritual life. And my suggestion is that that's not what the Buddha did. You shouldn't do it yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. สำหรับช่วงท้ายของรายการก็เช่นเคยอาตมาก็ขออนุญาตสรุปเป็นภาษาไทยตามที่ได้สนทนากับสามเณรจิมโยมบางคนบางท่านเพิ่งมารับชมรายการก็เห็นพระฝรั่งก็อาจจะบอกว่าเป็นพระที่จริงท่านก็เหมือนพระนะแต่ว่าเผอิญว่าเป็นชาวต่างชาติก็เลยต้องให้บวชเนนก่อนเพื่อที่จะได้ฝึกฝนและคุ้นเคยกับความชีวิตในวัดมากยิ่งขึ้นได้เรียนรู้ในการปฏิบัติแต่ความเป็นจริงอาจารย์จิมก็ได้มีโอกาสได้ปฏิบัติธรรมมา40 กว่าปีแล้วล่ะก็คือนับถือพุทธนั่นเองนับถือพุทธที่ชาวไทยเราเรียกนับถือพุทธแต่ความเป็นจริงก็คือท่านก็คุ้นเคยกับพระพุทธศาสนาช่วยเหลืองานพุทธศาสนามาเป็นเวลากว่า40 กว่าปีแล้วล่ะก็มีโอกาสได้ศึกษาธรรมะพอสมควรแต่ว่าเมื่อเวลาเหมาะสมก็มีโอกาสได้มาบวชอาตมาก็เลยสอบถามในเรื่องของครอบครัวเก่าซึ่งมีโอกาสได้พบเจอกันบ้างไหมแล้วก็จิมก็บอกว่าก็ประสบการณ์หรือว่าเรื่องครอบครัวก็มีโอกาสได้ติดต่อกับลูกชายซึ่งตั้งแต่จบไฮสคูลก็คือจบมัธยมปลายนะก็ไม่มีโอกาสได้เจอโลกเป็นเวลา30 กว่าปีนะซึ่งก็ได้ต่างคนต่างไปนี่คือชีวิตของฝรั่งเขาโยมก็ต่างถึงเวลาก็ต่างคนต่างแยกย้ายกันโลกถึงวุฒิภาวะก็มีโอกาสได้ไปทำมาหากินรับผิดชอบชีวิตตัวเองก็มีโอกาสได้เป็นผู้ใหญ่แต่ความอบอุ่นในครอบครัวก็ขาดหายไปดังนั้นจิมก็ได้ศึกษาธรรมะมีโอกาสได้มาฝึกฝนและที่สำคัญ30 ปีผ่านไปจิมบอกเซอร์ไพรส์มากนะได้เจอโลกผ่านโลกเทคโนโลยีก็คืออินเทอร์เน็ตนะได้ผ่านอีเมลได้ผ่านอินเทอร์เน็ตได้คุยกับโลกผ่านอินเทอร์เน็ตโลกก็ยังไม่เคยเห็นตัวจริงนะเพราะว่า30 กว่าปีแล้วนะก็เพิ่งมาติดต่อกันนะก็เป็นสิ่งที่น่าอนุโมทนากับท่านในส่วนนี้ได้เจอลูกชายก็คือเป็นลูกชายคนเดียวโอลิซันก็คือลูกชายของท่านคนเดียวแต่ว่าท่านก็เลือกชีวิตที่จะมาบวชตรงนี้ถามว่าลูกชายเห็นด้วยหรือว่าครอบครัวเห็นด้วยก็ท่านก็ได้เลือกทางตรงนี้แล้วก็คิดว่าก็จะทำคล้ายๆกับพระพุทธเจ้าเมื่อมีโอกาสก็จะมีโอกาสได้ไปช่วยเหลือทางภรรยาอดีตภรรยาหรือว่าลูกละให้มีโอกาสได้ศึกษาธรรมะเหมือนดังที่พระพุทธเจ้าพระองค์แม้จะในชั้นแรกได้ละทิ้งครอบครัวไปแต่ว่าท้ายที่สุดแล้วก็คือเพื่อช่วยเหลือชนหมู่มากคนเป็นส่วนใหญ่และที่สำคัญเมื่อท่านได้ตรัสรู้แล้วก็ต้องกลับไปเยี่ยมหรือว่าไปช่วยเหลือครอบครัวโดยมีพระบิดาและก็มีอดีตภรรยาหรือมเหสีของพระองค์ก็คือพระนางยโสธราพิมพารวมกระทั่งพระราหุลลูกชายก็ได้รับมรดกก็คือเป็นทายาททางพระพุทธศาสนาเป็นสามเณรองค์แรกนั่นก็หมายความว่าพระพุทธเจ้าก็ได้ช่วยเหลือครอบครัวแล้วก็ช่วยเหลือผู้คนการตรัสรู้ในทัศนะของจิมก็ไม่ใช่เพียงแค่เพื่อที่จะตรัสรู้แค่ส่วนบุคคลเท่านั้นแต่ยังช่วยเหลือชุมชนยังช่วยเหลือสังคมในวงกว้างอีกเหมือนอย่างที่พระพุทธเจ้าพระองค์ได้ทำซึ่งเป็นข้อคิดที่น่าสนใจว่าจิมก็ได้เอาพระพุทธเจ้าเป็นแบบอย่างในการที่จะประพฤติปฏิบัติก็ขออวยพรให้ท่านเนี่ยได้บวชอยู่นานๆและที่สำคัญได้ช่วยพระพุทธศาสนาได้ช่วยเผยแผ่พุทธศาสนาไปในโลกกว้าง พื่อความสงบร่มเย็นของชาวโลกต่อไปก็ถือว่าเป็นโอกาสที่ดีก็อนุโมทนาไว้ณตรงนี้ Thank you very much Jim
ขอบคุณครับ
for your sharing a great experience especially your life thank you in the end of program a series of Dhamma talk I'm Pramha Sompong Santajito from Wat Arun as a moderator I would like to thank the viewing audience for your watching and Jim Michelle for our speaker to share his spiritual journey, spiritual life with you. So if you have any question, any doubts, or even you would like to know more about the temple, I mean a cave temple, initiated by Samanen Jim, please join us and to share this idea and whatever we would like to do. I think it will be great idea to help the people. So in the end, again, for this book, quickly, this book, please call and receive this one, the Buddhist humor, the author. In the future, we are going to have the new one soon. I believe so. In English, this one, and another one. Sorry, this is in Thai for the หลักวิธีสอนโลกให้เก่ง again for the some of you maybe you have the children you can teach your children or kids be wise according to Buddhist approach I think is a big help for you to deal with your son your daughter your children okay another volume coming soon about the สอนโลกให้ดีสอนโลกให้มีความสุข and สอนโลกให้ใฝ่เรียนใฝ่รู้ and even the ต้นไม้แห่งรัก the another one the tree of love coming soon as well so very nice talk thank you very much and so have a good time same place until then